everybody, Jane Hamilton here again. I'm going to read to you from another novel by one of my writing heroes. This time it's Nick Hornby, and it's about a boy, and this particular section is when the 12-year-old oddball Marcus has discovered that his mum isn't necessarily as perfect or as right as he's always thought she was. It's a pretty long section, this one, so bear with me. In the next few days, he began to notice more things about the way Fiona talked to him. Everything she said about what he could and should watch or listen to or read or eat made him curious. Was this part of the plan, or was she just making it up as she went along? It never occurred to him to ask her until she told him to go to the shops to get some eggs for their dinner. It struck him that he was a vegetarian only because she was too. Did you always know I was going to be a vegetarian? She laughed. Of course I did. I didn't decide on the spur of the moment because we'd run out of sausages. And do you think that's fair? How do you mean? Shouldn't I have been allowed to make up my own mind? You can when you're older. Why aren't I old enough now? Because you don't do your own cooking. I don't want to cook meat, so you have to eat what I eat. But you don't let me go to McDonald's either. Is this premature teenage rebellion? I can't stop you going to McDonald's. Really? How can I? I'd just be disappointed if you did. Disappointed. Disappointment. That was how she did it. That was how she did a lot of things. Why? I thought you were vegetarian because you believed in it. I do. Well, you can't go to McDonald's then, can you? She'd done him again. She always told him he could do what he wanted, and then argued with him until what he wanted was what she wanted anyway. It was beginning to make him angry. That's not fair. She laughed. That's what life is, Marcus. You have to work out what you believe in, and then you have to stick to it. It's hard, but it's not unfair, and at least it's easy to understand. There was something wrong with this, but he didn't know what. All he knew was that not everyone thought like this. When they talked in class about things like smoking, everyone agreed it was bad, but then loads of kids smoked. When they talked about violent films, everyone said they disapproved of them, but they still watched them. They thought one thing and did another. In Marcus's house, it was different. They decided what was bad, and they never touched it or did it again. He could see how that made sense. He thought stealing was wrong and killing was wrong, and he didn't steal things or kill people. So was that all there was to it? He wasn't sure. But of all the things that made him different, he could see this was the most important. It was why he wore clothes that other kids laughed at, because they'd had this talk about fashion, and they'd agreed that fashion was stupid. And why he listened to music that was old-fashioned, or that no one else had heard of, because they'd had this talk about modern pop music, and they'd agreed it was just a way for record companies to make a lot of money. It was why he wasn't allowed to play violent computer games, or eat hamburgers, or do this or that or the other, and he'd agreed with her about all of it, except he hadn't agreed really. He'd just lost the argument. Why don't you just tell me what to do? Why do we always have to talk about it? Because I want to teach you to think for yourself. Was that your plan? What plan? When you said the other day that you knew what you were doing. About what? About being a mum. Did I say that? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, of course I want you to think for yourself. All parents want that. But all that happens is we have an argument and I lose and I do what you want me to do. We might as well save time. Just tell me what I'm not allowed and leave it at that. So what's brought this on? I've been thinking for myself. Good for you. I've been thinking for myself and I want to go round to Will's house after school. You've already lost that argument. I need to see someone else who's not you. What about Susie? She's like you. Will's not like you. No, he's a liar and he doesn't do anything and he bought me those trainers. Yes, he's a rich liar who doesn't do anything. He understands about school and that. He knows things. He knows things. Marcus, he doesn't even know he's born. You see what I mean? He was getting really frustrated now. I'm thinking to myself and it just doesn't work. You win anyway. Because you're not backing it up. It's not enough to tell me that you're thinking for yourself. You've got to show me too. How do I show you? Give me a good reason. He could give her a good reason. It would be the right reason, and he'd feel bad about saying it, and he was pretty sure it would make her cry. But it was a good reason, a reason that would shut her up. And if that was how you had to win arguments, then he'd use it. Because I need a father. It shut her up, and it made her cry. It did the job.